Welcome back to another episode of Design Underworld Fridays from Design Tales, where we explore the stories behind UX, tech, and design, whether they're inspiring or downright controversial. Today, we're diving into the dark side of UX design with one of the most well-known companies in the world, Amazon. Specifically, we'll be discussing Amazon's extreme use of surveillance and labor tracking in its warehouses. This isn't just about convenient two-day shipping or Prime Day deals. There's a whole lot more happening behind the scenes, especially for Amazon's workers. If you've heard whispers about this but never really knew what it's all about, buckle up because we're about to break it all down. So, what's the deal? Well, let's get into it. Now, you've probably heard that Amazon has a massive workforce, over 1 million employees globally, and a lot of those workers are in fulfillment centers, packing up orders at breakneck speed. But what you might not know is how much Amazon uses surveillance UX to keep tabs on them. Picture this. Every move an employee makes, from how fast they pick items off the shelves to how long their bathroom breaks last, is being tracked. Yeah, seriously. But it gets worse. Amazon uses a range of tools, apps, and interfaces that constantly collect data on their workers. They've got scanners, wearable devices, cameras, and even AI-powered tools to measure productivity down to the second. The moment you slow down or fall behind, there's a little digital flag. Sounds like something out of a dystopian sci-fi movie, right? But nope, this is real life. Now, let's dig deeper into the why. Why does Amazon use this surveillance UX? Well, Amazon's argument is simple: speed and efficiency. They want to be able to ship your new headphones to you in 2 days, sometimes even faster. To make that happen, they rely heavily on labor tracking systems to squeeze out every drop of productivity from their warehouse workers. It's a logistical dream, but only on paper. The more you can monitor, the more you can control, and ultimately, the more efficient you become. It sounds great in theory, but in practice? Not so much for the people involved. By tracking every second of every worker's day, they can optimize productivity and keep those lightning-fast shipping times we all love. And, to be fair, the logistics of Amazon's operation are incredibly complex, so it makes sense that they'd rely on technology to manage it. But here's the thing, the problem starts when it's not just about efficiency, but more about control. By designing systems that not only monitor workers but also nudge them to move faster, Amazon has essentially created a work environment where UX drives behavior, but not in a positive way. It's the kind of UX that forces people into a race against time, often leading to burnout, stress, and even injury. So how does this affect Amazon's workers? Imagine being timed down to the second to see how fast you can grab an item from a shelf, pack it, and move on to the next one. Workers often refer to it as being treated like human robots. These systems have led to crazy high stress levels, burnout, and even physical injuries. In fact, some reports have shown Amazon warehouses have higher than average injury rates compared to other industries. And let's not forget the insane stories about workers skipping bathroom breaks because they're afraid of falling behind in their productivity scores. On the flip side, for Amazon, it's about making sure operations run smoothly and efficiently. They'd argue that without these systems, they wouldn't be able to deliver on the promises that make them successful: fast shipping, low prices, and massive scale. This intense pressure has led to a broader conversation about whether Amazon is pushing the boundaries of ethical work environments. But what about us, the users, the consumers? Well, for us, we get our stuff fast, and that's why we keep coming back to Amazon, right? But there's a hidden cost. As designers, consumers, or just human beings, we have to ask ourselves, are we okay with this? Is the convenience of 2-day shipping worth the toll it's taking on these workers? While we're not directly affected in the same way the workers are, we are part of this system. Now, let's get into some concrete examples of how this plays out. These are real UX designs Amazon and other big companies have used to track their workers. At number 1, we have the time-off task tracker called TOD. This one's a doozy. The time-off task metric measures how long workers spend not actively packing or picking items. And this includes time spent going to the bathroom. Employees have reported feeling stressed and anxious about taking even a minute too long on breaks because the system automatically logs it. If you're not moving products, the clock starts ticking. Take too long, and you'll get flagged. Next, we have the handheld scanners. Every Amazon warehouse worker carries a scanner, which tracks their productivity in real time. The device tells them which items to pick, where to find them, and how long it should take. Oh, what if they're too slow? Well, the system flags it. It's like having a boss watching over your shoulder all day long. Then we have the automated firing systems. Yup, you heard that right. Some reports have surfaced claiming that if a worker doesn't meet their productivity goals for a certain period of time, Amazon's automated systems can generate warnings or even fire workers without human intervention. It's UX design taken to the extreme, where the system is judge, jury, and executioner. Next, we have the dreadful Amazon's gamification tactics. In some warehouses, workers' productivity stats are displayed publicly. If you're lagging behind your colleagues, everyone knows it. It's like a leaderboard of who's crushing it and who's falling behind. Workers have reported being penalized for taking too long during bathroom breaks, all because their productivity scores dropped during that time. Then there are AI-powered cameras. Amazon has implemented AI-powered surveillance cameras in some warehouses that monitor employees to ensure they follow safety protocols. On the surface, this sounds reasonable. Safety is important, right? But the issue is that these cameras can also track how efficiently someone is working, penalizing workers for even minor delays. And finally, we have the wearable tech in some fulfillment centers. Workers wear devices that track their hand movements to ensure they're working at the optimal speed. Imagine wearing a wristband that not only tracks your steps but also your productivity and pings if you're not fast enough. That's a bit too much like living in a Black Mirror episode. These are just a few examples of how far these tracking and surveillance systems go. As you can see, it's not just about making workers efficient, it's about control. So, what does this mean for designers? Well, these systems are, in part, designed by UX professionals. The principles of user experience are used to create highly efficient workflows, but there's a fine line between optimizing for efficiency and dehumanizing the workforce. But the problem isn't just Amazon, it's that these kinds of systems set a dangerous precedent. If other companies adopt similar surveillance tactics, it could normalize these invasive practices. UX is meant to make people's lives better, not trap them in a system where they're constantly being watched and judged. As designers, it raises a major ethical question. Where do we draw the line between using design to improve efficiency and using design to control people's behavior? It's easy to get caught up in designing for business needs, boosting efficiency, and increasing productivity, but we can't forget about the human impact. We need to think critically about the systems we create. Ask yourself, does this design empower the user or control them? Does it improve their experience or increase stress? Are we designing with empathy, or are we pushing people beyond their limits? We have the power to make UX design a force for good, but that means pushing back when systems are built to exploit rather than support. Ethical design is something we can't ignore. Are we creating interfaces that empower users, or are we making tools that turn them into cogs in a machine? When efficiency is the only metric we design for, we lose sight of the bigger picture, the human experience. In the end, Amazon's extreme use of surveillance and labor-tracking UX design is a cautionary tale. Sure, it makes things faster and more efficient, but it comes at the cost of workers' well-being, mental health, and even their dignity. As designers, it's essential that we consider these implications, and while there's no denying the success of Amazon's logistics empire, we need to ask ourselves if it's worth it. So, what's the takeaway? As designers, we have to remember that we're shaping more than just experiences, we're shaping the way people live and work. And with that power comes responsibility. Let's commit to using our skills for good. Be mindful of the systems you help create, and always ask yourself if they're truly benefiting the people who use them. If this conversation hits home for you, there's plenty more to explore on this topic. Ethical design is a growing field, and it's something we can all take part in shaping. Check out our previous episodes for more insights into controversial design topics, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep getting the real, often uncomfortable stories behind the world of tech and design. That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that subscribe and like button, and be sure to check out our channel for more eye-opening design content. And comment below with your thoughts about surveillance UX. Catch you later.